families can be challenging. And 50 Cent's personal story, he rose to fame because of his unwavering determination, as dramatic as his professional path. Even while he is widely known as a rap icon, few people are aware of the chaos and grief that surround his family life. 50 Cent has had a tense relationship with his oldest son, Marquise Jackson, despite having 2 children. He has given his younger son, Sire, his whole love and attention, even though he has had to navigate difficult situations because of his history. 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, became a father in 1996 when his then-girlfriend Shaw Tompkins gave birth to Maris. At the time, everything seemed to be going well, but as their tumultuous relationship worsened, so did the family bond. After a protracted and acrimonious custody battle, 50 and Maris' tension had already begun to mount. And by the time the issue was ultimately resolved in 2008, 50 asserted that their father-son bond was hardly surviving. He loved his father and believed him to be superhuman when he was younger. This awe, however, gave way to disenchantment as he grew older. And by the time he reached adolescence, their relationship had all but disappeared. The last straw came in 2008, when Mars was seen in a picture with the kid of Kenneth Supreme McGriff, a member of one of 50 Cent's most threatening rivals. This betrayal caused so much pain, and he responded with a family member's claim that Maris frequently caused issues by purposefully doing things that annoyed his father. He would hang out with people he didn't like or post things online to annoy him. It became a twisted game since neither of them was willing to give up. In response to criticism of his heartless social media comment, 50 Cent stated that he wouldn't care if Maris and McGriff's son was hit by a bus. The harsh remark demonstrated how tense their relationship was, about sadness rather than animosity, saying that he believed his son was acting disrespectfully toward him and that he had given Maris a lot more money than he had ever had as a youngster. In 2022, Maris made a public attempt to gain his father's attention by offering him just 1 day of his father's time in exchange for $6,700, the same monthly child support payment that 50 had made. Despite Maris's assertions that it wasn't about money and that all he wanted was to spend time with his father, 50 turned down the offer, stating that social media would not be a part of a genuine attempt at reconciliation. Despite the discomfort, Maris is determined to make a name for himself. He went into music, dropping songs and attempting to escape his father's shadow. Maris wasn't being serious, he thought, and money couldn't mend a disrespectful relationship. Maris later disclosed that he had tried to speak with his father in private but had run into problems because he didn't have his phone number and his social media accounts were blocked. He wasn't asking for money. All he wanted was an open conversation. Even the most successful people can have significant personal cracks from time to time. Layers of pain, joy, and conflict are often hidden in family stories. 50 Cent's connection with his younger son, Sire, appears to be closer, but it has also been impacted by the difficulties he has had during all of the highs and lows. In September 2012, he gave birth to his second son. A reminder that 50 Cent's journey as a father and a son is unabated. Behind the scenes, things have not been going well with his mother, Daphne Joy. But his bond with his son appears to be much closer than his tumultuous relationship with his oldest son, Maris. In March 2024, Daphne accused 50 of mistreating her on social media, saying that it had damaged her faith in him as a dad and broken her heart. The public accusations exacerbated their already complex relationship, even though 50 Cent denied them. After claims that Daphne had engaged in adult labor, which she vehemently denied. In order to obtain sole custody of Sire, the drama wasn't limited to courtrooms. It was widely reported. Their altercation had already garnered media attention. In 2013, 50 was charged with domestic abuse after a heated altercation with Daphne. Despite being charged with kicking her and damaging her belongings, he avoided harsher punishments by entering a guilty plea to petty vandalism. The incident led to 3 years in a row of "despite everything." 50 Cent remains unwavering in his dedication to his heritage. especially in relation to his son Sire. In a recent interview, he emphasized that everything he has produced will be passed on to Sire, making it obvious that his youngest son would receive his entire fortune. Fans applauded his commitment to Sire, but many were curious about his firstborn kid, Maris. Probation and community service were clear indications that their disputes were more than just tabloid gossip and had real-world repercussions. One of the most dramatic episodes in the ongoing saga between 50 and Maris occurred in 2018. When Maris shared a picture of himself. For those who are familiar with 50's history, McGriff is more than just a moniker. To them, he symbolizes a troubling period in the rapper's life. For McGriff, who was allegedly involved in the shooting that almost killed 50 people in 2000. Seeing his son with someone's child who had such a profound connection to the incident was a breaking point. 50 Cent's icy reaction to the picture made it painfully evident how deep their rift had become. The story of a man who has been shaped by both success and grief lies beyond the headlines and platinum albums. Curtis Jackson was born in Queens, New York, and raised by a single mother, who did everything in her power to provide him a better life. To him, his mother, Sabrina Jackson, was everything. She was a dedicated worker who was willing to do anything to provide for her kid. Curtis's life on the streets was cruelly ended in 1983 when she was only 8 years old, in what authorities thought was a homicide. His mother was drugged, rendered unconscious, and had her apartment burned down. The mystery surrounding 50 Cent's murder left a lasting impression on her life. Because of her bravery and strength, she created a stir in their South Jamaica Queens community in a society that did not welcome women like her. There have been heartaches and difficulties along the way. Even though 50 Cent's family has always been the most significant part of his life. According to 50 Wise interviews, he never fully recovered from the wound caused by losing his mother, Sabrina Jackson, when he was 8 years old. This violent and youthful event fueled Curtis's ambition, drive, and relentless pursuit of achievement. But it also left scars that helped shape the complex man we know today. Dad attempting to reconcile his legacy with the pain of unsolved ties, talking about how her death affected him. He recalled how someone who reportedly put something in her drink and switched on the gas ruthlessly took away the one person who meant the world to him. Even as an adult, he acknowledges that if life gave him a curveball, he would have thought that things wouldn't have gone as they did if his mother had still been living. Sabrina was not only his mother, but also a strong, straightforward woman who ensured her son was prepared for the harsh realities of life. 50 remembers her as caring yet firm, always pressuring him to make a decision. 50Y has never held back when discussing those years in interviews or his songs. Her words, "Get up and keep going," stuck with him and influenced how he handled life's challenges both as a child and later as a well-known celebrity. However, little Curtis found himself in his grandmother's care in South Jamaica, Queens, following the death of his mother. He began working, distributing drugs, and learning how to live on the streets at the age of 12. He didn't want to go down this path, but he thought he had to in order to survive. Life continued to be difficult. The fact that he remembers being his grandmother's baby draws tension to the sharp contrast between the child who had to ask for permission to walk home from school and his gritty outward appearance. Living with his grandmother wasn't always easy because there were 8 of them in the same house. At a time when he was arrested, got into fights, and made risky decisions, his grandmother was always there for him. Tension was high, particularly with his Aunt Sylvia, who was upset that Curtis had taken her place in the family. 50Y was close to his grandma in spite of this, and she frequently thought she recognized his mother's face in his own. Every day he felt the weight of this unspoken link, but it also added to the authenticity of her love. The death of his grandmother years later was more painful than anything 50 had ever experienced, he recalls, and he recalls being called to the hospital where the entire family had gathered. When he spoke to her, her eyes gleamed despite even As he suffered with the ongoing tragedies of losing friends and loved ones to drugs, violence, and accidents, he made an effort to accept the loss of his vulnerability. After their brief moment together, he saw a dip in her pulse rate. And his aunt turned to face him, saying, "She was waiting for you." However, in August 2024, 50 had to deal with his grandfather's untimely death once more. In order to share the news, he wrote a heartfelt Instagram post, remembering his grandfather's humor and sacrifices even while he was in the hospital following our relationships haven't always been easy. Even if his family remains the most significant part of his life. One example is his relationship with Daphne Joy, the mother of his youngest son, Sire. Their turbulent relationship has been marked by court battles and public accusations. In May 2023, actress and model Daphne accused 50% of harassment in an Instagram post that has since been removed. In response, 50 filed a defamation lawsuit, alleging that her accusations had harmed his reputation and personal life, including his visitation rights with his father. Even though the message was removed, the harm had already been done, and Daphne's claims of feeling mistreated and in control further strained the already tense relationship between 50 and his son. Notwithstanding the turmoil, 50 Cent manages a legacy filled with love, sorrow, and insurmountable challenges while staying committed to his family. Although 50 Cent has always stated that he wants to help his youngest son, pursuing Daphne Joy has become more challenging because of his legal issues with her. Despite the heated back and forth, 50Y decided to drop the lawsuit in September 2023, claiming that the accusations were meant to harm his reputation and prevent him from seeing his father. If the case is dismissed without prejudice, he might submit again later. He appears to wish to distance himself from the legal turmoil. However, one thing was for sure: 50 Cent and Daphne's conflict had not been resolved. It's unclear if this was an attempt to resolve the problem or if it was a part of a bigger strategy. Furthermore, he has been involved in a toxic relationship with Sheena Tompkins, the mother of his oldest son, Maris, for more than 20 years. Their relationship has degenerated into a vicious cycle of legal actions, public insults, and constant social media jabs since the late 1990s. Shaniqua was accused by 50 on Instagram in January 2019 of using funds from his first international tour for cosmetic surgery rather than real estate. Their already tense relationship was further strained when Sheena responded angrily and without holding back, drawing Maris into the debate. Their tumultuous relationship continued even after they had split up until 2008, when it had devolved into a public conflict in which arguments over money were frequent. Sheena reportedly worked with NSA's girlfriend Carmen Bryan on a reality TV show that was marketed as a series about supporting women in business. The drama didn't end there. 50 disclosed that he had been paying Sheena $40,000 each month, or about $500,000 annually, for Maris's care. However, he said that Shanika was unhappy and desired more. After 50 took the matter to court, the monthly cost was reduced to $6,700 to locate a respectable job. Sheena clapped back, accusing him of being resentful, and said he was afraid she would reveal who he really was. As their dispute intensified, they refused to make concessions. Their grown son, Maris, has made an effort to forge his own identity while avoiding the damaging effects of his parents' toxic relationship. Maris is accustomed to his parents' arguments turning into a public spectacle. Conflict has been difficult in the midst of these family issues, and 50 Cent's private life has captivated the public. Fans quickly noticed the very private rapper's chemistry with Cuban Link when they went out together at the Power Season 6 premiere. And it seemed like their romance was off to a strong start. As the spark that had everyone talking seemed to fade over time, fans started to wonder how their relationship was doing. The story of 50 Cent and Cuban Links is one of tenacity, complex family relationships, and an ongoing battle to reconcile private strife with public success. Rumors about the two's connection started to circulate in 2019 when people saw photos of them together on social media. When they finally revealed their romance, though, the couple kept it a secret. 50's life has been a mix of amazing highs and very personal struggles. From his ongoing arguments with his ex-lovers to his determination to support his kids. During an Instagram live session, 50 ridiculed their first meeting, recalling how Cuban Link provided him the address of a restaurant rather than her house. It was lighthearted and a sign of their developing relationship. They even made relationship vision boards to strengthen their bond, 50 disclosed in a 2020 interview. The couple seemed serious in their attempts to develop individually and together, and work toward a secure future. But as time went on, fans found the rumors intensified when 50 humorously confirmed that he was single during an interview on Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He made it obvious that the relationship was gone by making a joke about being free and not wedded. The fact that Cuban Link fans had already solved the problem despite his lack of direct mention added to the mystery. When the two's social media accounts started to lose their most recent images, speculation started. 50 has frequently been open in interviews about why he has never thought about getting married and how building his business has always been his top priority. This comment fueled allegations that his relationship may have suffered in favor of his professional objectives, and he didn't want to get distracted by it. Although 50 and Cuban Link did not formally announce their split, it was obvious that their paths had diverged. Like many famous couples, they seem to have separated due to the pressures of their separate personal and professional lives. 50Y explained how money affects relationships when Colbert asked him why he still pursues fortune without a significant partner to share it with. He acknowledged that romance may be distracting, especially for guys, and that he would like to focus on his goals. He also quipped that he doesn't want to feel like a hostage trapped in a relationship, yet he didn't completely rule out the possibility of finding love in the future. A tale of perseverance, 50 Cent was sentenced to 9 years in prison for drug sales at the age of 19, even though he and Cuban Link are no longer together. Their continued pursuit of different goals shows how committed he is to living his life in accordance with his values. It's obvious that their breakup was less about drama and more about safeguarding chances. He served for just 6 months, yet that short time was enough to alter his viewpoint. He came to the realization that he would not achieve his goals by living on the streets. As he left, hip-hop was changing. The golden era of gangster rap, which was dominated by NWA, Tupac, Biggie, and Snoop Dogg, giving way to a new generation of gangster rap that would soon feature a new voice from Queens. 50 Cent. 50 was determined to make a name for himself in the music business, and his debut album, Power of the Dollar, was supposed to be his big break. Produced by Jam Master Jay of Run DMC, but before the record was even released, a tragedy occurred in May 2000 outside his grandmother's house. His record label, Columbia, deserted him, causing the industry to go into hiding while 50 healed and reorganized. The fallout was severe. Thankfully, 50 people who were shot 9 times survived. During this period, 50 had to start over. Through Jam Master Jay Shaw, who recently purchased a home on Long Island, 50 was able to connect with producer Shaw Money XL. Despite the near-fatal attack, T was prepared to resume his work when they joked that they had successfully put him back together. After that, 50 locked themselves in Shaw's home and started recording nonstop, creating 2 mixtapes that revolutionized the genre. This marked the start of an illustrious grind. 50 Cent owns the future, and you know who's coming back? These recordings not only caused a commotion, but they also took over the streets of New York, where boomboxes and vehicle windows were playing music all over the place. At the end of the year, Get Rich or Die Trying sold 12 million copies worldwide, making it the best-selling album of the year and one of the most iconic rap albums ever. The album's lead hit, Do Club, dominated the airwaves and topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 9 weeks, making it the biggest single of 2003. However, 50 Cent never lost sight of his accomplishment, and he frequently acknowledges his 50 quickly. Recognized Eminem's concurrent breakthrough with the Marshall Mathers LP, which sold an astounding 23 million copies. Hip-hop is unquestionably black music, according to 51. And some people find it difficult to accept that a white artist is superior. Too many black musicians. Legendary musicians like Dr. Dre and Eminem contributed to his notoriety. And Get Rich or Die Trying sold an incredible 13 million copies. The story of 50 Cent, from the streets of Queens to global superstardom, it's one of perseverance, determination, and self-reinvention. His journey serves as a lesson that no obstacle is too big for unwavering dedication. He has always pushed the envelope. If you like this tale, don't forget to check out more material. In every aspect of his work, he has remained grounded, even though his musical triumph in the 1950s was just the beginning. Even though he has now dabbled in other areas such as television, his first love remains music. If you want to be inspired by stories like this one, please like and subscribe to our channel.